Hi guys, welcome back. The first ever role-playing game I ever actually started with was Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. I'd wanted to play D&D for a long time, but no one I knew actually was a role player until this one chap turned up at my high school, and that was what he ran basically. About 6 months later or so, I managed to get hold of the red box basic D&D game. It's very basic. I would quite happily run it now, although I don't imagine I've got many players who would be interested in playing it, simply because you don't have the options that other games have. Then you've got first edition, AD&D, which is basically, as it says, a more advanced version of the basic rules. It's just got more whistles and knobs on. Now, I still have all my books. I've managed to recollect them over the last several years. And I was looking through the beginning of last year, and I thought, you know, the nostalgia value, this is great. I love this. This is where I think D&D took off. But I could never run it again. It's just too clunky. And I think I only really played that for about 18 months, and then second edition came out and everybody moved to second edition. And I loved second edition. It was first edition but tidied, it was corrected, it was made readable, it was made a lot more playable. And I never experienced any of the power gaming or power creep that everybody on the forums these days seems to think there was. And we played that for 10 years and it was great. Loved the system. And I remember when third edition was announced in an issue of Dragon magazine, and I was horrified, really horrified, at this idea that they were changing the system. It's like, this isn't, you know, this isn't D&D if you're going to change this, because there was no THACO, there wasn't going to be negative armor class, everything was going to go up. But when third edition came out, I loved it. It's you know, the D20 system was modular. You could take bits out of it. You could, I'll rephrase that actually, you couldn't just take 2 bits out of it, but if you understood how the system worked, or you understand how one bit of it worked, you understood how another bit of it worked, and you understood how another bit of it worked, and it worked perfectly, unless you're trying to grapple someone or disarm them or some weird combat manoeuvre. And I love third edition. And then you got 3.5, which was an unnecessary upgrade to get money. There's not beat around the bush on that. Wizards Coast just wanted more money. It did fix a few things, and it did make the game slightly better, but it was an unnecessary release. Now, first and second edition got about, 10 years each for their editions? Third didn't even get that. I mean, it got, 7 years, something like that, without double checking my dates. Before fourth, and I remember when they announced fourth, I was like so against it because I just didn't see the point. You know, you've got to give a game a chance. And this now, 2012, is really when fourth edition should have been released. Anyway, fourth edition comes along, and thankfully at the time we had a rather good game store in town, and I was able to spend a couple of afternoons and read through the books. And at that point, Wizards of the Coast basically lost me as a role-playing customer, because sorry if I'm going to sound like I'm edition warring here, but fourth edition is pants. Quite frankly, it's dumbed down. There's nothing to it. It's not a role-playing game. It's a tabletop MMO. Now, don't get me wrong, I play a couple of MMOs. I quite enjoy them. They don't beat a tabletop game. But you don't make a role-playing game to make, or to try and get players away from the computer. We need, as a gaming community, whether we're war gamers, role players, card gamers, whatever, we need to get people away from the computers and sitting around the table and interacting in person. And I can kind of see, I think that this is what they were doing with fourth edition. They were trying to make a game of these computer games so that people would go, oh, I'll give that a try then, because it'll be similar to how I play blah, Game X. I think it was a huge fail. I think it was a terrible way of looking at it. Instead of that, we just need to be highlighting our games a lot better, and getting people, away from the computer to a table. But now, coming to the point of this video, they have just announced that they are going to be doing 5th edition, or as they've put it, the 5th iteration, 5th edition, and they are basically doing what I wish more games companies would do. Paizo did it with Pathfinder. They turned around and they went, right, this is what we're going to do. What do you want? Give us ideas. And from talking to the community, Pathfinder was born. And Pathfinder is basically, as far as I'm concerned, D&D now. The actual D&D brand is dead to me, and Pathfinder is where it's gone. In fact, my group and I don't even call it Pathfinder. It's D&D, essentially. But at least Wizards of the Coast this time are trying to talk to the players. Whether they're actually paying any attention or not, I don't know. Because reading some forums and stuff, there were a few people saying that those of us in the role-playing community, those that post on YouTube, those that post on like EM World or other RPG forums, we are the vocal minority. Well, and we shouldn't be listened to. We are the overzealous fanboys. Well, I disagree with that. I think because we are the vocal minority, we're the ones that care the most about the game. If you care about something and you're really into it, you'll go on forums and you'll go on YouTube and you'll read reviews and you'll talk to other gamers and blah. So we are the people that they should be talking to. And the only thing that I am going to say to them, bearing in mind that I'll look at 5th edition, but I'm not moving away from Pathfinder now. But the only thing I'm going to say, and this is kind of the point of why I've gone through the history of D&D sort of thing, is pick a system, stick with it. No other role-playing game that I can think of changes its system every single edition. What's the point? Admittedly, I think 1st edition did need an upgrade, but 2nd edition isn't too big a gap. 3rd edition was great. Why they needed to change 4th into a weird MMO, well. And what's going to happen. 5th is going to be a completely different edition again. Pick one, Wizards, and stick with it. This is why you've got, I think, reduced sales, reduced player base, is because the game is going to be fractured into 5 play groups. You've got people that only play 1st, you've got people that are only going to play 2nd, only going to play 3rd, only play 4th, and then only play 5th. Pick a system and stick with it. I've never seen the point to it all. That's my suggestion. Look at the history of D&D, pick one of those systems, don't come up with a brand new one. If you're going to stick with this weird MMO thing, then stick with the 4th edition mechanics. If you want something decent, pick either 2nd or 3rd and just tweak it slightly. I doubt you'll do 3rd because the Pathfinder people won't come back for it, they'll stay with Pathfinder. But pick a system and stick with it. So, what about you guys? What do you think? What should Wizards of the Coast do with 5th edition? Should they even be bothering? I don't think they should. They should they've got their 4th edition to stick with it. Just release decent material for it. But hey, let me know what you think, and see you soon. Happy gaming.